All right, well, we thought we would do something fun and a little bit different for this live stream. Bobby and I are actually in the same room. We're really close to each other, but we thought we would kind of take a look back over the 11 years that 1 Minute Apologist has been putting videos on YouTube, and we've been existing as a ministry, and just kind of take a look behind the scenes. So, Bobby, my first question for you is take us back to that moment. Right before the first time you guys rolled the footage, started doing a video, what were some of the kind of ideas and thought processes that were going on with you and the 1 Minute Apologist team right there at the beginning?
Well, I didn't even really know what YouTube was at the time. I mean, I got the idea standing in a kitchen, and I found myself thinking, wouldn't it be cool to be able to do these short, creative videos, slap them up on YouTube? And our worship pastor at the time is a good friend of mine, Josh Wood. He said, yeah, and you could do like a black and white background and kind of do some cool music, because I originally started off with my library behind me with my books, and it was in color, and then we kind of went to this background where you used black and white, and the interesting thing about this is the music was just so creepy sounding in the early videos that we used. The setup, it was massive. I mean, it was like, I don't know if it was like the backside of a wallpaper that we just rolled from ceiling to floor and then across, and it even gave me room where I could walk in and out of the sets, but it was really cool. We were just putting things together. Kevin Peoples really was, the creative architect behind 1 Minute Apologist. I'm thankful to him to this day for kind of all that he did. But yeah, that's what happened. We just started playing with creative music. The first kind of music just was creepy, and the set got a little bit better. And before you knew it, we were able to get in and start having interviews and such.
Well, we're going to take a look at some of those early videos right now. And really, honestly, what I'm going to do after this video is I'm going to put a link to all the videos that Bobby is going to look at and react to in the description of this video, so you can click on them and watch the whole thing and watch, how they all came about. But really, Bobby's going to watch some of these, and we want him to laugh. We want to, get some of the story behind what's going on. So, Bobby, we're going to go ahead and kick this off here. I'm going to move this just slightly so that you are on the correct side of, there we go. All right, so here we go. So Bobby, this is the first one. This is video number 1, what is apologetics?
Yeah, well, I mean, the reason I started with this particular video is, we're the 1 Minute Apologist, and so the ministry's 1 Minute Apologist. I guess I'm the 1 Minute Apologist, and I wanted to start with what is apologetics. It made sense. It's funny looking back. Man, I've really turned gray in the last 11 years, right? What's going to happen to me in 11 more years? But yeah, it's funny. I'm looking at a young kid right there who's just excited to help people to understand apologetics and the difference apologetics can make in the world. I was serving as a pastor of a church that I'd started, and I look at this, and I would still start a ministry off like this by answering the question, what is apologetics? It made perfect sense. And we would go on, and I'd ask other apologists, like Frank Turek, what is apologetics, just to get their take on it. But that's kind of how we came out of the gates, establishing ourselves as an apologetics ministry.
No, that's awesome. We're getting a little bit of echo, so I'm going to go ahead and work on that as we kind of get things rolling. So let's go ahead and look at the second one. Give me the story behind this video here.
All right. So I'm assuming that the video here is with Eric Metaxas.
Yep.
And Eric Metaxas was at a conference that I was at as well. And his book on Bonhoeffer was blowing up. It was exploding. I mean, the lines that he had for people waiting just to sign autographs of his book was just tremendous. And so this is the first time that I had the opportunity to meet Eric. and just a wonderful guy. Sharp, astute, well-dressed, well put together. And he really cracked me up, though, because, he was frazzled. He'd been doing, speaking at this conference all day, and then all the lists, and then I had him on the set, and he says, how's my hair look? Does my hair look okay? And I cracked up because I thought he was joking, and he goes, no, I'm serious. And I said, oh, Eric, your hair looks great, bro. He said, good. And so we went ahead and we did the video, which he just did such a tremendous job. And so I just really was thankful that he at a time when he was really blowing up in the evangelical world, I just took some time to stand on our platform and be a voice, and I'm thankful for his continued faithfulness to Christ today.
No, that's awesome. So let's go on to this next one, and I know that you have several stories about this video, because this person was a mentor of yours, he was a teacher of yours, he continued to be an influence in a lot of apologists' lives. This is an interview that you did with Norman Geisler. So tell us a little bit about what's going on here.
Norman Geisler, he had a deep impact in my life. I after I got out of Dallas Seminary, I moved to Charlotte, wanted to start a church. But before I moved here to start a church in Charlotte back in 2004, I came out and I did a scouting trip to the area, and I knew that he had a seminary, and I thought it'd be great to go do some doctoral work under Norm Geisler when I get out of Dallas Seminary. So when I was out on a scouting trip, probably around 2002 or so, I stopped by the seminary. He happened to be there, and he walked out and he just introduced himself, and then he said, "Can I take you and your wife to lunch?" And I thought, wow, he didn't know we were coming by. He didn't know who we were. I was just a seminary student. He offered to take us out to lunch. We went out to lunch with him and told him the vision of planting a church. And he got so excited about it that he said, "If you ever come back to the area, I just want you to know we have a mountain cabin, and you can use that cabin anytime you want." Well, sure enough, I went back to Dallas after this meeting with him. He actually calls me up, talks to me. He writes me a letter telling me that him and his wife Barb were praying for us in our decision. And then I would fly out on another scouting trip, go to his mountain house, and it was in his mountain cabin where we committed to start our first church many years ago. That's Norman Geisler, and I would eventually go study under him and do a doctorate of ministry in apologetics.
Well, there's been several times that Norm Geisler has come up in the apologetic circles and apologetic world, and we just really appreciate that interview that you did. And he did a number of other videos on the 1 Minute Apologist channel too. So if you're a fan of Norm Geisler and you want to find out more about what Norm said and his apologetic methodology, we have tons and tons of videos with him on our channel. So we're going to go ahead to this next one, and this next one I think is really special because it's a female, and we really wanted to have more females on the channel. We want to feature more females on the 1 Minute Apologist channel and just as apologists in general. So go ahead and tell us about who this person is and how you connected with her.
Well, this is Kay Arthur, and probably to a lot of Gen Z, she wouldn't be as familiar. But for anybody that has been around for a while, would absolutely know who Kay Arthur is with their inductive Bible study approach. Just a great Bible teacher. She was such a gem. I found myself just blown away. I didn't feel like she was put off by the opportunity to be on the program. I should say my opportunity that she'd be on the program. She literally just sat there. She was completely present. She has this bigger than life personality. And I just remember her saying before I asked her the question, can we pray? And I was like, wow, here's just this young budding apologist is trying to figure life out. And here's Kay Arthur, who's got her inductive study Bible, for crying out loud. And she just wants to pray before she answers the question. And I thought, wow, I loved the God dependency in that. I loved just her spiritual heart to want to lean into Jesus and just rest in him. And, I think that's a message for all of us. Sometimes what happens is, Tim, is we start off the Christian life and we don't know the Bible, and we just pray like crazy because we just need to hear God and see Him. But, we start learning, and sometimes our learning can get in our way. You get older and wiser, and you just start trusting more in the wisdom you gained than in the worship of prayer and trusting God to work. And I think seeing Kay just reminds me of how important it is that we are to, live by spirit and truth. And we need more of the Spirit in our life and more of God falling afresh on us. And I just think that's so beautiful that she bowed her head and prayed with this guy that was, simply a nobody. And she saw fit to still say, Jesus, help me to answer this person's question.
Well, that's great. Well, I mean, and at the time, you were an apologetic nobody, but you weren't a nobody, right? So I just want to make sure that no one's thinking that you're necessarily putting yourself down, but I know exactly what you mean. That's awesome. This next video we're going to look at really needs no introduction to who this person is, because if you are into apologetics at all, you definitely know who this person is. And again, William Lane Craig has been on the show a number of times, but just looking at this video right here, the set is completely different. Everything about what we're doing has a little bit of a different feel. So take us behind the scenes, pull the curtain back on this particular set of videos. This is early on. This is like one of the first, 20 videos you did was this one right here.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's, I did not realize it was that early on, but yes, intimidation is what I think anybody rightfully can feel in the presence of this intellectual erudite. I mean, he's just brilliant. William Lane Craig is so sharp and he's so disciplined, yet he's gracious and he's humble. But I just have so much respect for him. I went on after my work with Norman Geisler, my doctorate of ministry in apologetics. I would go to do my PhD in philosophy of religion at the University of Birmingham in England. And it was through my influence of Dr. Craig that I chose that school. That's where he got his degree. And so I actually had the privilege of studying in the same department, the John Hicks Center, the philosophy of religion, to do my work. But it's his influence. I just love how articulate he is. I love what a great debater he is. We flew him out on another occasion, and he was so much fun, Tim. I had the privilege of taking his book On Guard and then doing the DVD video series with him. And when we were done doing the DVD video series, he spent a couple days out in Charlotte with us. Then I got him in the hot seat and I just started throwing questions. What's the moral argument? What's the cosmological argument? I just started throwing questions at him. And man, he just came so alive and he was so succinct. And he answered like 10, 12 video questions very briefly before I took him to the airport. But you could just see he knew everything. I mean, he just totally has his arguments memorized. And what a great Christian example he is today. And as you know, Tim, we had him on recently again to get some tools from him on what it means to emerge as an apologist. And I think I would advise people to check out that recent podcast video that we did with him. It's just real fresh and he's just such a blessing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if anyone wants to check out that video, we did that back, I think, in October, of 2020. You can check out that video. And yeah, we asked him kind of some unique questions, what his favorite debate was, how his study habits are. So it's definitely worth a watch. But anything that William Lane Craig puts out, I think, is definitely worth a watch. So that's awesome. We're going to go to this next one. And I think this story, as you were telling me, is great because now this person is just kind of one of those apologetic giants in our world. We're great friends with him now. I'm friends with him. You've been friends with him a lot longer than I have. But this video right here, tell us a little bit about the beginning of your journey with Jim Wallace, with Jay Warner Wallace, the author of Cold Case Christianity and God's Crime Scene and a number of other books. And Jim, fun fact, has been on at least 35 videos. I think he's close to 40 videos. So tell us how that whole journey began with Jim.
It's funny. What happens is, as an apologist, people will have their books sent to me sometimes to review, or they'll want to be on the 1 Minute Apologist. So when their book's coming out, they'll send it, and with the hopes maybe that we'll put them on and interview them. And that was what Jim did. He sent his book, Cold Case Christianity, out to me, and I wasn't familiar with who he was at the time. And I got the book, and then he followed up again and again, and Jim's persistent. And funny enough, when I met him, I mean, to know him is just to love him. He's just got this exuberant, dynamic, wonderful personality. I truly look to him as kind of my big brother. I feel like I could pick the phone up right now and call him, and if I had a need, he'd be right there just to help me through it. And whenever I'm with him, he's just speaks in my life, and I loved him from hello. And I tell you, he's just such a great guy. And when we had him in, it was amazing, not knowing who he was. And this was kind of like before everybody knew who Jim was. He was on the show, and man, he just quickly just went out and just surpassed us, man. Just being used in such amazing ways, and we're just so thankful for him. Just a Jim, and it's been fun. Just a Jim, that's his name. No pun intended, right, Tim?
Right.
So, but on the pastor's perspective, he's just available. That's why he's been on 35, 40 episodes. He does the same thing when I was living out in Southern California. If we needed a fill-in on the radio show, I could just call him up. And, man, he'd just gladly jump on the show with me and come on up. And I just love Jay Warner Wallace.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love him as well. I've had a number of opportunities to just chat with him and get to know him, and on a more personal level on some of the different events that we've done together with him. So I enjoyed reading his books, and I enjoyed getting to know him as well. So we have one final video that we want to play, one person that we want to highlight and look at and kind of just have a good time thinking about. But before we do that, if you're checking this video out, we would encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're interested in getting more answers to questions. If you're interested in seeing more from some of these apologists, one of the things that Bobby and I love to do on this channel is to introduce you to new apologists. Bobby just mentioned that very early on in Jim's career, he was sending him a book. We gave him the opportunity to sit down, and now look where he's at. So there are several apologists on our channel that when they first started, they kind of got maybe their beginning sitting down with Bobby and answering some questions with Bobby. So there are over 1,000 videos.
I do want to be clear, though. Jay Warner Wallace did not need 1 minute apologist.
Oh, no.
I would not want to take even an inkling of credit for his success.
No way.
If anything, we've been more the blessed recipient for his
of course. But they can find Jim and a number of other great apologists on our channel for sure. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're doing lives on a weekly basis, and we'll continue doing those. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at this last one. And this individual you met, my goodness, maybe you can just tell me where, because I'm drawing a blank where the two of you met initially. So we'll go ahead and put this one up there.
Yeah, Tim, this was when we were in New York. We were doing a CIA. As you know, I have the privilege of being one of the CIA speakers. Frank Turek has hired me there, and he gives me the opportunity to speak on his team, and I'm very thankful for that. And Frank will bring other people in to speak on his CIA team, and David Wood happens to be one of the guys. And man, David is just, man, he's a trip. I love David Wood. I was intrigued by him because of his story as a psychopath. And in doing my research on guilt, I had to deal with some psychopathy. And so I was familiar with David. And when I met him, I just started giving him a hard time because he did this video where he was in a slip, kind of mocking Muhammad, putting lipstick on, and I was just roasting him like, hey, where's your slip? And he kind of just cracked up at me. And, funny enough, he thought like his perception of me, Tim, at 1 Minute Apologist was, he saw us in this real slick environment, so he thought, I just have my life all together. And it didn't take him long to realize that, this guy's jacked up. And so he just starts giving me just the hardest of times for not having it all together. And, as a person who's passionate about mental health ministries, I've shared that with David. And he's just been a huge blessing. He's been on our program. He's been very available. I mean, as you know, Tim, I mean, goodness, him, John McCrae, and Adam Coleman, they drove 5 hours down from Virginia just to spend some time with us, just to help our ministry to grow and to do better. And so I just feel so thankful to David. What he does out there is just tremendous as he tries to reach Muslims. So many Muslims are coming to Christ. And yeah, I'm just really stoked to have had all these people. And there's one person, Tim, I know we didn't put on, but if I could share one last quick story,
Sure.
And it would be Josh McDowell. When I had Josh on, that was really fun having Josh on, but I went to kind of give him what question I would like to ask him, and he wouldn't let me tell him. He says, "No, don't ask me that. Don't tell me the question ahead of time. I want it to be fresh." And so, fortunately, he knew the answer. But yes, that was Josh McDowell. He wanted to make sure it was fresh and that he didn't have any lead time. Complete extemporaneous and impromptu was the moment. So there you have it, Tim.
That's fantastic. Well, Bobby, as someone that has benefited from your ministry in apologetics over the last 11 years, first started watching the videos, I think, in 2014 as I started my apologetic journey. I've been blessed by the videos. I've been blessed particularly by a number of the videos that you've done, providing those credible answers to curious questions and introducing me to other apologists that I had no idea who they were, what their specialty was, what sort of books that they wrote, and just watching the short videos was a really eye-opener, and then led me on a path to go check out those other resources that those people had created. And for David, it's his YouTube channel. For other people, it's their books or their video series that they've done. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for letting me be on the team, and that I've benefited from the ministry as well.
And Tim, you know what? Thank you for the great job that you do with, even in this moment, I'm sitting at a table because I've had the privilege to come into a place and an environment that you set up, you put in place. And okay, this ministry is a team. And so I thank you as well, my friend.
All right. Well, with that, we will call it to a close, call this live stream to a close. We wanted to just do this real quick here before the end of the year. Next week, we're going to try to look at kind of a year in review. We'll do something similar, but we'll look at the videos that just came out in 2020, and we'll talk about some of our favorite videos. And if you have a favorite video that came out in 2020, please let us know. Go ahead and leave a comment in the comments of this video what your favorite video was that came out, and maybe we'll feature that on next week's episode. So with that, we'll call it a day, and we'll see you next time.